Alright, so in this one we're going to be going on with question number 4, which is titled Discount Table. So the question says, a particular retailer is having a 60% off sale on a variety of discounted products. The retailer would like to help its customers determine the reduced price of the merchandise by having a printed discount table on the shelf that shows the original prices and the prices after the discount has been applied. Write a program that uses a loop to generate this table showing the original price, the discount amount, and the new price for purchases of $495, $995, $1495, $1995, and $24.95. Ensure that the discount amounts and the new prices are rounded to two decimal places when they are displayed. So in this one, what we could do is just create a game plan first before we start coding. Now we already have some predefined prices for about 5 products here. And what we could do is we could store these prices in a list. So let's do that first. Go to PyCharm, create a new project for this exercise, and let's start off with that. So let's create a new list called original price list, and that would simply be $495, $995, $1495. So I'm just going to copy this from here and paste it right here, and obviously remove the dollar signs because that is something that Python does not recognize as a part of an integer. So we just reformat it the way we want. Alright, so we've got our original price list already. The next thing that we need to do here is we need to get the discounted price or the amount that the price will be discounted by, because what it says is that we need to write a program that uses a loop to generate this table showing the original price, which we already have, and the discount amount. So we need to tell the customer, or basically show it in the table, display the price in the table that is being discounted from this price. So that would be 60% off $495 or 60% off $995 and so on. So, and then obviously the new price. So after the discount, the final price after the discount. So let's go ahead with it. Now let's create a variable called discount, and the discount is 60%, as we can see right here. So a 60% discount should basically be multiplied by a factor of 0.6 because discounts are always 60 divided by 100, which is always 0.6. So that's why we have a discount factor of 0.6 right here. And then what we're going to do is first off create a list of the discounted prices right here. So let's write discount price list, and this is just an empty list. Let me put a comment here, finding the discount amount. Let me just get the typos off. So discount amount for each product. So here what we'll do is simply run, well, a for loop on the original price list. And what you want to do is in each iteration, you want to access an element, multiply it by 0.6, and then store the answer inside this list. So if you know how to do that, go ahead, pause this video, go ahead and do it by yourself and see if you got the right answer. So I'm just going to write for I in original price list, and we'll write discount price list dot append, which would simply be I multiplied by discount. And then let's just print out our discount price list. So let's run this, and when we run it, we can see that all of our discounted prices come here. But there's another thing. What we need to do here is we need to round all of these into two decimal places, because that is what the question says. It says that ensure that the discount amounts and the new prices are rounded to two decimal places when they are displayed. So how to round floats into two decimal places? This is something that you haven't learned yet. So to do that, let's take a look at this. Now let's create a new variable here. Maybe let's call it price and make that equal to I multiplied by discount. So that is basically all of these numbers one by one. And then to round it off, what we could do is inside the append, we could use a function called the round function. And the round function basically takes the value which needs to be rounded, which in this case is price, and the decimal places or the number of decimal places that you'd want to round it to. So that would be 2 in this case. So now if I run this program, you can see that all values are rounded to 2 decimal places instead of the 6 or 7 decimal places that they had earlier. Awesome. So what we need to do now is we need to subtract these prices from these prices and create a new list. So let's create a new list called final price list and make that equal to an empty list. And of course, let's just try to comment creating and calculating, or maybe we could type something like calculating and creating the final product prices after discount. Awesome. So here, this is obviously more a more appropriate comment, and comments should always just be appropriate. It's just good practice so that anyone that reads your program, or even if you read this program like a year from now, you know what's actually happening with the code. Now, once this is done, let's go ahead and calculate these discounted prices. So to do this, we could simply just use like a while loop, or maybe just a for loop as well. So I'm going to create for I in range len of any list, because both of these lists are of the same length. All of them have 5 items. So maybe length of original price list. And then what we'll do is we'll write final price list dot append, because you want to append the discounted price into the final price list. So for each product, it's going to be original price list of I, or at position I, minus or subtracted by the discount price list at position I. Pretty simple, right? That's simple mathematics, and once we run it, that'll happen. But let's also print the final price list so that we know that we've got the right values. Now, when we print the final price list, you can see that we've got all of these values up here again, which, well, are not rounded to 2 decimal places. So how do we fix this? A simple way to fix this would just be put this whole thing into the round function, this whole value that's being calculated. And since the round function is from here to here, you simply put a comma here, and then you write round to 2 places, run it, and now finally you've got all prices rounded to 2 places. That's awesome. So we've got all of our 60% discounted prices, we've got 3 lists, and now we need to display these 3 lists. So let's see what order we need to display these 3 lists in. Now, they say that we want to display these lists using a loop that generate a table showing the original price, the discount amount, and the new price for purchases. Awesome. So let's just print something like original price, and then we'll put a /t here and discount amount. Now, why do we put the /t there? So the /t basically adds an indent, or like 4 spaces. A /t is equivalent to 1, 2, 3, and 4 spaces. All right. So if I run this, you'll see that we've got original price, and then we've got the /t and the discount amount. So let's just add a couple more /t's, run that, and well, we've got a good enough spacing between these two. So we've got 4 /t's here. So we've got original price, discount amount. We'll have the same number of /t's right here, and then we go ahead and have the final price So that's that. So these are basically the headings of our table. Now what we need to do is we need to print out each item of these three lists. So the original price list, the discount price list, and the final price list, well, in this sequence. So to do that, we're simply going to do for I in range, again, len of any of these lists. So original price list. Now we can take any of these lists in this case simply because the lengths of each of these lists are the same. All right, you couldn't have done this if the length of the original price list is 5 and that of discount price list is like 8 and final price list is like 12. All right, we're able to do this simply because they're all the same. Now, in this case, what we want to do is simply print first off original price list at position I plus you want the /t's, then you want the plus, and then you want discount price list at position I, then you again want the /t's for the spacing and the formatting, and then you want the final price list, which would be of I. Let's see what this looks like, if this works or if it gives an error. Well, that's going to give us an error because if you guessed it, that's amazing. It's because all of these values are float values, and the /t right here is a string value, so we cannot concatenate floats and strings like this. So instead of that, what we'll do is we'll simply convert these into a string. Just like that. And it's done. Awesome. So let's run this, and it still does not work for us. So it says can only concatenate string, not float to string. So here we have our string values right here, but we forgot to write the string typecast at the end. Awesome. So now you can see that we have all of our prices in place, but they don't really align with our whole table. And also we should really show dollar signs right here. So first off, let's start small. So I'm simply going to add dollar signs with each of these. So a dollar and a plus right here. Oops. Awesome. And finally, this one. Great. Let's run that. So we've got dollar signs now. Now what we need to do is we need to align these to the center. So to do this, maybe what we could do is simply add a /t/t/t/t at the first dollar sign. And if we run that, well, it's too much. So maybe just 2/t's with our dollar sign. And yep, that looks a little better, but not for the others, maybe just for the first one. Okay, so the first one is pretty sorted. Now for the second one, let's add probably another /t and try that. Okay, that gets better. Another one, and that gets much better for the second one. And let's do the same for the third one, so /t and /t. And once we run that, we've got our discount amount table, which looks pretty cool to me actually. So that was pretty much it for this one. And if you've got any questions, as always, just put them down in the comment section and my team or I will help you out with the best answer and as soon as possible. Until then, just have fun and I'll see you in the next one.